Hello everybody, welcome to Sarah's Stitchery. My name is Sarah and this is my channel where I talk all about my cross stitch. This is Flosstube episode number 33 and the date is April 13th, 2025. Welcome to my channel. Welcome back if you're returning. Welcome for the first time if you're new here. I appreciate you taking the time to check me out. I hope you enjoy your time with me today, and I hope that you will consider liking my channel and subscribing, leaving me a comment, all the things. So let's get started. It has been a hot minute since I've seen all of you. It has been almost a month. So a little behind schedule, but that just means I have more to show today. So the last time I saw all of you, I was on spring break. If you're new here, I'm a 4th grade teacher. And so I was just enjoying all of my time being at home stitching. And then I went back to school and it's just been busy since then. We're in the midst of state testing season. So getting all the things in before testing and reviewing, and I'm piloting a new version of our reading program. It's just been a lot. So, you know, on the evenings and weekends that I'm home, I'm just kind of decompressing. So it's kind of cut into my stitchy time and my filming time, but I'm back and I'm ready to show you guys some awesome stuff. You may notice I'm wearing glasses today. I don't usually wear glasses in my videos. I am an everyday glasses wearer, but I usually don't wear them because of my ring light. So I decided today to forego the ring light. And I was like, well, then I can wear my glasses. So I've got my glasses on. Hopefully that's not throwing anybody off. For some reason, it throws my students off when I don't wear my glasses at school. Sometimes I'll have them off in the morning and they're like, you look so different. I really don't, but whatever. But I also decided not to use the ring light today because I've been noticing it's kind of been casting some shadows on my stitching. So we'll see what it looks like without it today. If it's not great, we'll go back to using it. So if you have an opinion on that, I'd love to hear it. So quick personal update. I did go to the Steel City Stitchers retreat last weekend in Pittsburgh. It was fantastic. It was my 4th time attending that retreat, and I just enjoy it because my friends are there and it's pretty laid back, and it was just a nice break, a nice getaway to do nothing but sit and stitch and chat with friends. So and thank you to everybody who took a moment to come and say hi to me. I had a really great time. Also, I want to show you my t-shirt here. Kind of pop up a little bit. It says most likely to have dog hair in my stitching, which is true. If you're new here, I have 2 dogs named Daisy and Lily. You are going to see Lily a little bit later. She's going to help me out with something. But my friends and I all got these shirts on Etsy from a shop called Crazy Designs for You. Crazy spelled K-R-A-Z-E-E. And you can order the shirts and get them to say whatever you want. So like my friend Karen, she likes to stay up all night and stitch. So hers said something like most likely to stay up all night and stitch. My friend Sarah likes to have oh no, I'm thinking about the wrong person. My friend Sarah likes to color complete, so hers says most likely to color complete. My friend Allison likes to have 1-inch margins on all of her stitching, which gives me heart palpitations. So that's what hers said. So we all got our own shirts with our own personalized sayings on them, and we wore them together at the retreat. So I thought I'd wear mine in my video. And my friend Sarah W., who did not get to come to the retreat, but she ordered a shirt too. So she wore hers at home with us in spirit, and she wore hers in her last video. So if you haven't watched Handmade by Sarah W., she's a good friend of mine. You're going to hear me talk about her a lot. So you should just go check out her channel. Anyway, let's get started. I have lots of stitching to show you today. Kind of looking down at my notes here. I have an FFO. Well, I guess it's a finish and an FFO. You guys haven't seen it. I have an FFO and I have a finish. So we'll start with those things. Let's start with my finish and FFO. So let me start by saying I was going through my kitted up projects, which I do every now and then. You know, because sometimes things get kitted up and they never get started. And so I do go in and unkit some things after a while, like, well, I never started that, so let's put the fabric and floss back in stash. And so I had this large project bag with several projects in it because it was a monthly series from, who's it from? Pine Mountain Designs. And this was from, I want to say 2023. Yeah. So it was a monthly series called Life is Just a Bowl of Cross Stitch. And I had all the months kitted up, and I had the floss pulled, and I'm just not good at keeping up with monthly stitches. So I was like, let's put all that away. I did stitch like a few of them. I know I stitched like February and April and May. I feel like there were more, but I couldn't remember. But when I was unkitting it, I realized that I had started March. It wasn't even like in my whip count. It just like flew under the radar. But I had started March, and I had forgotten that I had started it. And it's such a tiny pattern. So let me show you the pattern here for March. So it actually comes with 2 charts. You get like this postage stamp type of design, and then you get the long pillow. The kits came with the Ada, and it was also like already sewn into like the fabric. Like this was for that roll pillow that says March there. And then this was a piece of Ada for the postage stamp. I'm not an Ada stitcher. I used to be, but I stitch only on linen these days, just because of my preference. So the ones that I did stitch, I was stitching on linen. So I had started this, I want to say on a 36 count. I don't remember what the linen was, but I had started it, and I was like, that's so little, just finish it. So I did. So I finished it. I fully finished it. I did not give the girl eyes. She has eyes on the chart. I don't even know if you can see them. They're like little tiny French knots. I stink at French knots. So I was like, I'll just do beads for her eyes. Well, my beads were way too big and she looked like an alien. So I was like, she doesn't need eyes. And I think she looks great without eyes. So I made her into a little pillow with some Lady Dot chenille. I think it's Lady Dot. I don't remember. Anyway, it might have been, I could be wrong. It might have been the chenille that came with the kit. Because with this series, they sent you, everything you see in the picture was sent. Like you got the bowl, the dough bowl with your first purchase. And then everything else came in the kit. So I might have used the chenille that came in the chart, but there's that. So I didn't get her done in time to display for St. Patrick's Day, but she'll be ready for next year. Let me sit her over here. There we go. And speaking of St. Patrick's Day, I have another St. Patrick's Day FFO. I did show you guys my finish of this, but I just recently FFO'd it. And if you're new to the stitchy world, to the Flosstube world, the acronym FFO stands for Fully Finished Object. And here's mine. So I had stitched the Happy St. Patrick's Day chart from Primrose Cottage. I think this was one of the free Friday stitches. And I purchased the finishing kit for it. So the finishing kit comes from Primrose. And so it came with the rickrack and the fabric for the front and the back. There's my back. I did cut a hole in the back to stuff it, and I just covered it up with some wool felt, and there it is. I do have to admit I messed up on sewing in my rickrack, and I had to pull it apart and do it again, but I did, and I'm happy that I did. So I think it turned out so cute. I don't remember the details of the fabric, but I did do a slight conversion for the floss because I didn't have the called for. I had one of the called for, and I think there were 3 flosses called for, so I picked 2 other ones from my stash, and I think I put it on my Instagram if you're interested in my colors, but I don't have them in front of me right now. So there's my FFO. So I have 2 new St. Patrick's Day finishes to put out next year. That's exciting because I don't have a whole lot of St. Patrick's Day stitching. In fact, that doubled it. I had 2 things that I had stitched previously. Now I have 4, so. All right, and then my last finish is a finish, not an FFO, but I finished at the retreat. I'll show you the chart first. The chart is Things Unseen by Lizzie Kate. It is a 3-part what was a 3-part mystery sampler. You still have to purchase it in 3 parts. You cannot purchase it as a whole. And I believe they're only available on 1, 2, 3 stitch, but that's what the final version looks like. And I was actually able to finish mine at the retreat last weekend. I was super excited. I got to ring the bell, and here it is. I think it turned out so good. So I had originally started this back in 2022. I was stitching it on the I believe it called for 32 count Ren by Picture This Plus. So I had started it on Ren, on the 32 count Ren, using 2 flosses over 2 fabric strands or fabric threads or whatever. And I don't like stitching with 2 threads. You know, since then I've discovered that that's just not my jam. I like stitching with 1 strand, and so I decided back in February to restart it. So I'm still using Ren by Picture This Plus, but I'm using a 40 count, so I was able to do 1 over 2. And I did use all of the called for Weeks Dye Works floss, and I think it just turned out so cute. I had originally purchased the embellishment pack for this chart, but stitching in on 40 count, I felt like some of these might be a little big and bulky. And so I just went ahead and stitched how the chart was. And I think I like it better. So I'll just save my embellishment pack for other finishes. But another change that I made was in the chart, I had talked about this last time. In the chart, there's like a little green butterfly. Actually, it's kind of a big green butterfly over here by the house. And I just didn't want to do a green butterfly. And a lot of you gave me really great suggestions, like change the colors of the butterfly and other things. But I was like, you know what? I wanted to keep it easy. And so I just decided to take this bee over here. I reversed the image of the pattern and I stitched another one over there. So I figured there's already a bee in here. Why not put another bee? So I've got 2 giant bees and a bunch of teeny tiny bees. So I think it works though. I think it turned out really cute. There are some specialty stitches in here. The flowers in this row are stitched with satin stitches. I'll kind of bring it in a little closer there for you so you can see those. The flower petals are stitched in satin stitches. And then inside of each of these circles on the topiary is an Algerian eyelet. So I'll bring that in close too. I love stitching Algerian eyelets. I don't know why, but they're super fun. So I think this turned out adorable. I am going to get it framed. I cannot wait to put it on my wall. And I just love the saying. It says, "The best and most beautiful things in the world cannot be seen or even touched. They must be felt with the heart." And this is a quote from Helen Keller. So I just think that's such a sweet sentiment. The whole chart is very sweet. Like that's like the word that comes to mind when I look at this is sweet. It's very sweet. The colors are very sweet. This would be beautiful like in a little girl's room. I don't have any little girls anymore. Mine are big. But so it's gonna have to go in my room, I guess. And I'm okay with that. Speaking of little girls, my oldest is having a birthday next week and she's turning 27. My goodness, when did I get so old? Anyway, there's my finish. I love it. It's beautiful. So many of you are stitching it or have finished it. And I love that you guys share that with me and you tell me about that. So thank you. I love that we're having that shared experience. And for those of you who are wondering, especially for those of you who stitch on Ada, like you can do a satin stitch on Ada, but you can also just do those in full stitches too. So don't let the specialty stitches scare you off of this chart. Okay, moving on. So those were my finishes, my FFOs. Let's talk about new starts. Let's start with new starts. Excuse me. Let's sit that over there. So I had 5 new starts since I saw you, and I'm not going to show them in any particular order. I have a stack here and I'm just going to pull off the stack. So this first one actually comes from the Nashville Needlework Market Cookbook for 2025. This is my first year buying the cookbook. I've never bought the cookbook, but there are so many good charts in here, and I can't show them to you because it's just the charts. There's not like pictures of the charts for most of them, but it's a really great deal for the money you pay for it, because with all of the recipes and the charts, you're definitely getting your money's worth. So my friend Allison wanted to do a stitch along. Actually, she's hosted this stitch along for the last couple of years, I think, or she wanted to. I can't remember if she stitched anything prior to now or not, but she has a hashtag. It's called Happiness is Homemade Sal. And so if you're stitching anything from the cookbook, use that hashtag so we can all see what everybody's stitching. But I'm stitching a chart from Pickens called Berries. And here's my start. Just a small start, but it just caught my eyes. I'm all about the berries right now. Strawberries are like the thing right now, right? And so I'm stitching mine on a scrap of, what is this fabric? I didn't write it down, but I'm pretty sure it's Mystic fabric in the color Pearl, 40 count. And it is charted in DMC. And in the chart, you've got strawberries, you've got blueberries, you've got blackberries, and there's going to be some raspberries. And it's just so colorful. I cannot wait to get to the pinks. Let me show you my colors. There's all the colors. So there's quite a few colors in this, but you know, it's not a big piece. So I can't wait to get to like these bright pinks. Those are going to be like in the raspberry. Super cute. That'll make a cute little pillow, like a dough bowl pillow for summer. And I'm keeping this in my bag from my sister. My sister has a shop on Etsy called Pepper Pot Shop. I don't know why I had to look at the name of the shop just now. I know what it is. I do look at the names though, because my mom, if you're new here, my mom and my sister both have shops. So I'm just making sure I got the right shop. So this one is Pepper Pot Shop. This was one that she made last year. She does have quite a good selection in her shop. So I don't know if she has this one in particular in her shop, but I will definitely link it below. So definitely go take a look, especially if you're into the strawberries right now. So cute. And I love the pink fabric inside. And of course you've got a strawberry charm. So I had to use my strawberry bag for my berries start. So again, that was from the cookbook. That was the Pickens chart. I'm loving Pickens right now. Like, she is just, her designs are so colorful and amazing. So if you haven't checked her out, definitely check out her designs. Okay, another new start that I have. This was a start that we did at the retreat. Several of my friends are stitching this one. We decided to start this at the retreat. Here, I'm putting it on my board right now. We decided to start this at the retreat. This is a chart from Hands On Design, because Kathy from Hands On Design was the designer for the retreat piece this year. So we're like, well, in honor of Kathy, let's start. There's a hare in my garden, and unfortunately I don't have all my charts with me. I stitch from an iPad, so I always scan my charts and put them in my iPad so that I can see it, so I can blow it up. So we're stitching There's a Hare in My Garden, and it's going to be one in her BAP series, Big Amazing Produce. So this one is more of like a carrot shape, and it's actually called for, it's interesting. Let me find it, hold on, I'm sorry. It's actually called for to stitch on a 20 count linen, 2/2, I believe, or no, 1/2, because you're using pearl cotton. So like her original model is huge. I'm not using that fabric. I'm stitching mine on a 40 count Chai Love You from Fiberlicious, using all the called for DMC. So there's my start. I've never done a finish like this. I guess it's like a strawberry finish, even though it's kind of like elongated. There it is. Again, So there's my start. You actually have to stitch 4 rabbits, you know, because it goes all the way around. But I've got one bunny in there so far, and it's gonna be so cute. My friend Allison, AllieCat13, she's stitching hers. I want to say she's stitching hers on a 25 count over 1. So hers is gonna be like super tiny, and some of my friends are stitching it on the called for over 2. It's gonna be huge. So it's gonna be fun to see all of our finishes together when they're done. We had, like I said, we had started it at the retreat, and we saw the Vino Stitchers there. They have a Flosstube, mother and daughter, and they had started theirs, and so we did like a little group picture. It was really fun. So that's my start of There's a Hare in My Garden. And I have the most perfect project bag for it. I have to show it to you. Oh, and while I was at the retreat, they had the pins that are called for the finish. So I went ahead and grabbed those from Just Another Button Company. But I gotta show you my bag. Let me fold this up. Actually, I think maybe I won't fold it. I want to take a picture of my progress later, so I'm just gonna sit that down there. But let me show you my bag. It's another Pepper Pot shop from my sister Megan. How perfect. Bunnies, gardening. There's a hare in my garden. Perfect. Couldn't find a better bag for this project. So, love that one. All right, next new start. I had started this like right before the retreat. And this was a chart. Oh, I do have the chart with me. This was a chart from Nashville Needlework Market from Shakespeare's Peddler. It's called Kindness Makes Friends. I love stitching a house, and I love the long droopy strawberries along the sides there. So this one was just calling to me. I love the colors. So I'd ordered this when I placed an order from my friend Jody's shop. Jody is Simply Stitching Ocala, and she has an Etsy shop. And let me show you my start. I did do a color conversion. Here we are. There's my start. Nothing too exciting yet, just working on that border. You can see how like long and narrow this chart is. I'm stitching this on a 40 count gray spinel from Fiber on a Whim. That was one of their new fabrics from Market. I just thought that the colors worked really well on here. So let's talk about those colors. Hold on one second. So I had pulled the called for colors, and they are, or no, I had pulled the called for DMC. I forget what it's actually charted in, but there is a DMC conversion. So I did not have a lot of the called for overdyes in stash. So I went ahead and just pulled like the DMC conversion. It's not very easy to see, but I was like, okay, like I thought the colors were nice, but there were some of the colors that I wanted to kind of punch up a little bit. And so I have a pretty good stash of coloring cottons and Roxy floss. And I was like, this would be a great time to pull out these flosses that I have in my stash and do a little bit of a color conversion. So I did, I'll try to hold these up together. Here we go. So I did do a color conversion. This is my color conversion, and these were the DMCs over here. And so you can see my colors are in the same color families, right? Like I have the same types of colors, but I wanted to brighten them up a little bit. So like, for example, let me show you an example of one. I wanted this blue right here to pop a little more. So I chose this blue. This one's Wintertide from Color and Cotton. So you can see that one's a brighter version of this. So that's basically what I did with most of the colors. I just found a brighter version like this, right? This color right here, which I think is 945, is for some of the strawberries, and it's just like a flesh color to me, and I didn't want flesh colored strawberries, so I chose like this pink. I believe this is a Color and Cotton as well. This is Bombay, so I replaced the 945 with the Bombay. So I just wanted to brighten up my color palette a little bit, and I think I did. So I'm excited to see how these colors look on my fabric here as I go. So, you know, I don't have a problem sharing my colors with you, but I was watching Holly Jones the other day, Mrs. Jones Stitches, and she does a lot of color conversions, and she always says like she's happy to share her color conversions, but as she's stitching, sometimes she will make changes. So I'll kind of go with that caveat there. Like, if you want my colors, I'm happy to give them to you. But as I go along, if a color's not working for me, I will change it. So, you know, this might not be the final say in the colors. In fact, I just changed one of the colors yesterday. So it might not be my final version of the colors, but if you'd like to know what I used, I'm happy to share those. Like I said, it is a mix of color and cotton, Roxy floss, and I do have one DMC in there. But I'm excited to see how this one unfolds. I'm excited to start stitching some actual things and not just the border. But so far, I think it looks great on this fabric. I love a fiber on a whim fabric, so you really can't go wrong. And that's just like a nice gray, like a brown tone gray. It's perfect. And I'm keeping this in a bag from my friend Michelle. Her shop on Etsy is Michelle Lee Quilts. And she just makes the most beautiful patchwork bags. Her work is amazing. Go check her out. I will link her below as well. All right. Thank you for bearing with me while I put my things away so I don't mix anything up. All right, I have another new start. I'm pretty sure I haven't shown this to you yet. I mean, it's been like a month, so there's a good chance I have not. So this was another new market start. I'm going to have to find this one on my iPad too. So this was another one. This is from Stacy Nash. It is called Rose Hill Farm. Here it is. I love this one so much. I just love that big red barn on that dark brown fabric. And so I had started this a few weeks ago, and here's my start. So you can see I had to start with that big red barn. I'm not usually a center starter, but for this one, I had to. I am using all the called for, and my fabric is 40 count Dead Sea Scroll by Seraphim. I think the called for is Needle Bling Broomgrass, but I think this is pretty comparable to that. So here's my start. So you can see I'm filling in the barn there, and I got to work on the roof, and I've started coming down and adding some of the border in as I go. And I'm really liking it so far. So, and I've seen several people start this one. I cannot wait to get to like the flowers in the border. There it is. It's just going to be so pretty. And that red just really pops. When I had looked at my color palette, I am using all the called for Weeks Dye Works. When I had looked at my color palette, I was telling my friend Sarah, Handmade by Sarah W., I was like, I don't think that red is red enough. What is this color? It's Lancaster Red by Weeks Dye Works. I just thought it was kind of a little drab. I wanted like a red barn. I needn't have worried because, as you can see, once you get it on the fabric and you have the lighter color in there, I think that's straw, it just makes the color pop. So I'm glad I trusted the process and I didn't just immediately change the color. I was like, I'm going to try it out because, I mean, this whole color palette just works really well together. So I didn't want, and that's the thing too, like sometimes I worry if I change one color, I'm going to need to change a few others. And I was like, let's just trust the process and see how this goes. And as you can see, it's going very nicely. So I love it. It's so good. I think I have one more new start for you. And this new start, I actually started this morning. I've been wanting to start it. It's another Nashville Needlework Market start. Oh, they got me this year with the Needlework Market charts. There were too many good ones. You know? So, I do have the chart for this one here. Okay. So my start this morning was on Hope by Shakespeare's Peddler. The thing that drew me to this chart is the colors. I love vibrant colors, and those just work perfectly together. It does call for Classic Colorworks, Gentle Arts, and Weeks Dye Works. I am using all the called for over dyes. There is a DMC conversion on here, and I'm using the called for fabric, which is 40 Count Dark Soil by X2 Designs. Don't get too excited. It's not much of a start, but it is a start. Let me make sure I'm holding it up the right way because it doesn't really matter because all I did was part of the border. But I got all the way down, so that is the height of the piece, and then it will go across. And it's actually not a very big piece. I thought it was going to be bigger, so I was surprised to see that it's only going to be 7.5 inches by 6. So it's going to be a pretty small sampler. It's only 149 by 120, so it shouldn't take too long to finish. But like I said, I just started it this morning, so hopefully the next time you see it, you'll see more progress. But I'm going to keep this fabric out because now I'm going to move into whips. Whips are works in progress because my whip that you have seen before is on the same fabric. Oh, let me go back and show you the colors for Hope. Sorry. I love these colors. Look how vibrant they are. I love this red. This is Louisiana hot sauce. This pink red pear. Both of those are Weeks. I love Deep Fennel by Classic Colorworks. Pea Pod. Oh, just such a good color palette. But that's the color palette for Hope. But also on the same piece of fabric, I am stitching Spring Sampler Fragment, which I've shown to you before. On the same fabric, called for fabric, using the called for flosses, which are, again, a mix of Classic Colorworks, Gentle Arts, Weeks Dye Works. And got this on one side. I have this on the other. So they're just on the same piece of fabric. And that's my progress so far. Not much more progress since I saw you last. I think since I saw you last, I added a little bit more of the border up here. I started a letter down here. I did this little like line, checkerboard line type thing. So I don't have much more progress on that. So I want to work on that some more. I definitely want to get down to this house and the little, like the wreath with the bird in it. It always looks like a nest to me, but I think it's just a wreath. Anyway, so cute. So there's my progress on Spring Sampler Fragment. And I'm keeping both of those. Man, it is like Pepper Pot Shop day. Another Pepper Pot Shop bag. I've got floss sticking to it. So good. There was a bee skep in the Hope sampler, so I thought this was a good choice for that one. So there's that. All right. And like I said, the rest of these are all going to be whips, works in progress. And several of these are ones that I just worked on for a little bit when I was at the retreat. When I was at the retreat, my main goal was to finish Things Unseen. And so I did that. And so then after that, after focusing on that one piece for so long, I was just kind of flitting around here and there and everywhere. So the next ones are going to be maybe just a little bit of progress since you last saw them. So this next one is Anne Hughes. This is a birthday start for my friend Sarah W., Handmade by Sarah W. Her birthday is in July. It's always in July. But for her birthday, She wanted to stitch Anne Hughes by Quaint Rose Needleart. Let me show that to you on my iPad here. Anne Hughes. Oh, I don't want to show you the chart. There we go. There's the picture. I know the Seattle Stitcher recently finished hers. It looks amazing. And here's my progress. So while I was at the retreat, I was starting in on the fill-in. I already had everything else on the house done. I just have to fill in those red bricks. So you can see I did some fill-in, and obviously I didn't finish it, but it's a good one for retreats for the fill-in. So I was able to just sit and chat and not have to worry about where I was stitching and what color I was using, because it was all just the fill-in. I am using all the called for floss. There is one, what are these called? Cottage Garden thread. There's one of those, and then you've got Classic Colorworks and Gentle Arts for the rest of the palette. But it's so pretty. I love it. I cannot wait to use this blue right here. I haven't used it yet. I cannot wait. The blue is in the birds. I'll show this to you again. You can see those big birds up there. The blue is up there. It's such a vibrant color too. That color is Black Raspberry Jam by Gentle Arts. So that's my progress on Anne Hughes. I need to get to it though, because Sarah's going to have another birthday start in July, and I'm going to want to stitch whatever she chooses. She's already been showing me some things she's thinking about, and she picks amazing charts. So whichever one she goes with is going to be beautiful. So stay tuned for that. You'll have to watch her channel to hear more about that. But like I said, her birthday's in July, so I have a little time. But I need to get on it. Okay, another thing that I worked on, this is another one that Sarah and I are doing together. You'll notice that Sarah and I stitch a lot of the same things. We have very similar taste, and it never fails if she's like, oh, I really want to stitch this. I'll be like, I already have that as a whip, or oh, I have that kitted up. Like, that's happened so many times, and this was one of those where she was like, I really want to stitch this chart, and I was like, I can't remember if I'd already started it or if I had it kitted up. I think I'd already started it. I was like, that was one of my whips, so let's do it. And it's Blackberry House by Plum Street Samplers. And I started this in I think I started it in 2023, maybe 2022. I can't remember. But here's mine. Again, not a whole lot more progress since the last time you saw it. Again, if you are a returning viewer. But I just worked on some fill-in this urn down here. I finished filling in the bottom, the base of it, and then I was working on the fill-in over here. So like I said, at the retreat, I was kind of hopping around and, you know, couldn't settle on something after finishing things unseen. So this one didn't get a whole lot of love, but any love is better than no love. So this is one that I'm stitching on 46 count. Most of the things I stitch are on 40 count. This one's on 46. It's a color in cotton in the color pewter. And I am using all the called for floss with the exception of I had to change out the gray color. I think the gray color that's called for is aged pewter. I can't remember if that's like a Weeks Dye Works or a Classic Color Works or a Gentle Arts. I can't remember, but I had to switch it out for a Roxy. This is actually when it was Leo and Roxy. But I switched it out because the color the aged pewter just did not show up on my fabric. And so I'm using the Leo and Roxy floss in the color Irony. And I think it was a good sub. It's just a darker version of what was called for. Because you can see in the chart, it's not that much different. It's just a little darker. But I love this one. I cannot wait to get back to it. This is just one of those ones that just kind of lingers, and every now and then I pull it out and give it some love, and then I put it back away for whatever reason. I really feel like it's a summery type of stitch, and so I think I usually only work on it mostly in the summer. And I've got this one in another Michelle Lee Quilts bag. Let me show it to you. The colors of this fabric are so cute. So pretty. I think I forgot to show you some of my other bags, but that's okay. Moving on. I did put some work in on this one. I think I started this one back in, I want to say 2023. This is a Lindy Stitches called Little Brown Bird. It says, little brown bird with breast of red, fly back to me for winter is dead. And so, of course, I like to work on this at the end of winter when I'm wishing for spring. And so I had put some stitches in on this in March. I can't remember if I worked on it in February too, but I made some progress on this, but it's probably going to get put away until the end of next winter, because now that spring is here, although it has been kind of cold lately, but now that spring is here and things are starting to bloom and everything, I'm not really in the mood anymore, so it'll come out next year. But I did get some good progress on it. I finished all of the text, so I think when I pulled this out again this year, I think I only had the words little, and I think I had like the B and the R. So I did finish all of the text, so that feels really nice because I don't love stitching text. And I was extending the green border. So yeah, all I gotta do is finish up all the stuff. I mean, that border is, there's a lot going on, obviously. So, but that's all I gotta do is finish up all the borders. So it's so cute. I just love the colors. I love colorful things, even though I do end up stitching a lot of things that are like more primitive colors. I do love a bright color palette too. So I'm not just stuck to one type of color palette. I like them all. I just love colors. I'm stitching this on a, I think it's the called for. I don't think it's a called for count, but I'm stitching on a 40 count Sea Spray by Seraphim. And I just love the variegation in this fabric. I can't wait to use the rest of the fabric for something else. It's so pretty. And I think all the colors, they're colored. I got a color in cotton here, not a color in cotton, excuse me, Classic Colorworks and DMC is what I've got. And I think I'm using all the called for. So there's that. And this one lives in a bag by Wildberry Stitching. Jess has great patchwork bags too. You should go check out Wildberry Stitching. I will link her shop below. I'll link all the project bag shops below so you can go check them out. All right, next is one that I'm stitching with Sarah W. We actually started this one together last year on April Fool's Day. And we started it on April Fool's Day because the chart is called Tom's Foolery. My chart is, it's seen better days here. It's called Tom's Foolery by Hands Across the Sea Samplers. And this was another one of those that she was like, oh, have you seen this pattern? It's so cute. And I'm like, I have it kitted up. Let's do it. So she was able to like purchase it really quick as a PDF. And we kitted it up and we started it last year on April Fool's Day. In fact, we came up with a hashtag, hashtag Foolery on Fools. And we use that every time we post any progress on this. And here is where I'm at with it. So like I mentioned before that Sarah and I stitch a lot of things together. In fact, she and I film videos together, which we're way overdue for our next episode of Stitching with the Sarahs, but I promise you it's coming. But we stitch a lot of the same things. And a lot of times when we stitch stuff together, we just kind of go at our own pace. But there are a couple of projects, this one included, that we stick together on. I don't know why it just happened that way, but like for this one, we make goals and we stitch until we reach those goals. And then we'll put it aside for a bit and then we'll get it out again and be like, okay, now where are we stitching? So for this one, we had just kind of been hopping and bopping around all over the pattern and just, you know, filling stuff in here and there. And so this time around, we were like, well, let's finish the bottom. And so we had like taken the chart and just kind of drawn a line across and said, let's finish everything under that line. And so you can see like I'm almost finished with everything, and you probably can't even tell, but like there's some little things that I got to sprinkle in. There is a lot of color changes in this chart. And so, you know, even though you might not be able to tell, there are some things I need to go in and fill in to reach my goal. She's already reached the goal. And I'm just trying to reach the goal too. So I'll get there very soon. And, but this one's just so fun. This guy, I know every time I show this pattern, I point out this guy in his pajamas. We just stitched him. So I'm really happy to have him in there. He's just so wacky. I like him. So yeah, there's my Tom's Foolery. And like I said, we have that hashtag Foolery on Fools. But like if there's anything that you're stitching that Sarah and I are both stitching, we have a hashtag that we use. It's stitching with the Sarahs. So if you're stitching anything we're stitching, feel free to use our hashtag and tag us. We love to see when you guys are stitching the things that we're stitching too. Because the more the merrier, right? Cross stitch is about the community, and well, to me, in my opinion, cross stitch is about the community and the fellowship that you have with other stitchers. And so I like sharing my stitching and sharing the experience with other people. And I have this in a very colorful bag. I had to do a colorful bag for a colorful chart. This was actually a bag that was made for me by my friend Lori. It is with a Tula pink fabric. And I just thought that was perfect for Tom's Foolery. All right, we're getting there, guys. There's a lot of stitching. I got a lot of catching up to do. All right, the next one is another one that I'm stitching with Sarah. She actually got this for me for my birthday. She gave it to me all kitted up. It is called The Birds of a Feather Needlebook by Stacy Nash. And so you actually have to stitch it in 4 different parts. So these are the outside parts of the needlebook, and then like you close it together. And then the inside of the needlebook looks like this. And so you actually have to stitch 4 different pieces and then put it together. And you have to, if you want to, you have to stitch the little initials down there. So she kitted it up for me. She even bought me the ribbon for finishing. And here's where I'm at. Here's where I'm at with that. And so I did finish up the first panel there, the cover of the needlebook, which is this beautiful bird and the strawberries and the flowers. So pretty. And she did kit it up with the called for floss. I believe these are all Weeks Dye Works. And she got us these little wooden floss organizers. I don't remember what the shop was. I'll have to ask her again. She sent me the link before and it's buried in our text messages. So I'll have to get the link and put it in the description box down below because I've had a lot of people ask me about this. But yeah. And this is Zweigart fabric in the color Platinum, 40 count. I'm stitching 1/2 like I always do on 40 count. And that's where I'm at. It's so cute. So Sarah and I both finished up that bird, that front there. So now we'll need to move on to the next section. And we keep them in these adorable bags. I got us both one of these bags from Isabella Sews on Etsy. And Sarah had gotten us these wooden S's as like a zipper pull, and we painted them pink. So very cute. I love stitching with a friend. It makes the stitching even more enjoyable. So let me put that all away. All right, next, like so much stitching, like it's awesome. Next I have my Entwined Hearts. I had started this in February on Valentine's Day. It's by the Scarlett house, and I'm using all the called for. I'm using the called for fabric, which is a week's dye work fabric in the color Aztec Red. It's a 40 count. Here's my progress. I was doing one strand a day and then I kind of fell off, so I need to get back to that because I was making good progress just doing one strand a day. And I'm using all the called for Classic Colorworks Belle Soie. There's just 4 of them. And they're so fun to stitch with. They're so soft. And yeah, there's my progress. It's looking so cute. So I don't want to put that one away. I don't want to lose momentum on it. So I want to get back to just doing one strand a day because that's very manageable and it was helping me make good progress. And this one is in a Painted Leaf Co. bag. And Painted Leaf Co. is my mom's Etsy shop. Her name is Kathy. And this was one of her bags that she made last year with the Teresa Kogut fabric with the bunnies. And I thought this was perfect because it had the hearts and it has all the red. So I thought this was a good project bag for my entwined hearts. Isn't that cute? Look at these two, they're in love. Okay. All right, the next, oh, this is a big one. I'm not even gonna use my board for that one. Knocking stuff over here. This next one is another one that Sarah and I started together, and just like Tom's Foolery, we set goals to do. So this one is a slow go for us. It's a very big project. It is Serenity by Teresa Kogut, and it's one that we'll stitch on and put away and then pull back out later and stitch on it some more. So there is a lot going on in this pattern. It is huge. In fact, the stitch count is 338 by 340, so it's big. So we're just kind of taking our time with it and enjoying it as we go. Ooh, and here's mine. You can see it's like a blanket. Mine's on a 40 count latte by Picture This Fiber on a Whim. Sarah's stitching hers on the same color. She's an Ada stitcher. I'm a linen stitcher, so it's always interesting when we see our stitching side by side. But the most recently, our goal was to stitch this down here. We wanted to come down and get the butterflies and the flower in the pot there, and that's what we did. So I'll bring you in a little closer to see what we did. I was concerned that the white flower would not show up, and it is a little ghosty, but if you get close enough, you definitely can see it. So I'm gonna keep it. I like it. I think it's pretty. So that's where we are. So again, as you can see, we have a long way to go. We got a lot to go, but it's just kind of fun to every now and then be like, okay, let's put a little bit more work into this. Where do you want to go next? So that's where we are. I want to start like moving up into the top here and getting some stuff in the top so it doesn't look so bare up there. But our first thing that we did was this big old house. So that was nice to kind of get that out of the way. That was a lot of stitching. So there's Serenity. We did make a hashtag for that too, Serenity with the Sarahs. We like hashtags. Not that they work anymore on Instagram apparently, but you know, I still use them. So yeah, we are keeping these in a project bag that Sarah made for us. She made us matching project bags. She's super talented. And I think the colors of this project bag are just perfect for this project because look at the color palette. We are using all the called for colors. And they're so pretty. And I know people have asked me about this floss organizer before. I'd gotten it from an Etsy shop, but I'm not able to find that Etsy shop anymore. I don't know if they like closed down or what happened. If I'm able to find it, I will link it, but the last few times I've looked, it's not been on there. So, but I love this floss organizer. I need another big one like this for those projects that have a lot of floss. Okay. we're getting there. I think we're down to the last two. The end is in sight. If you've stuck with me for this long, thank you. I'm glad you have, because I still have a giveaway to talk about, and I have an upcoming stitch along to talk about. I probably should have done those earlier, but you know, I guess that's just your prize for staying till the bitter end, right? You get to hear about those things. All right, this next one was my birthday start for 2023. This is the 3 Things Sampler by Moira Blackburn. Speaking of large projects. And I decided to pull this one out and give it some more love. And here it is. Let me straighten it out. There it is. So there's my progress. I'm stitching this one on a 40 count Rocky Mountain by XU Design. I'll bring you in a little closer. So most recently I have come in and finished this part of the text. There is still more that goes down below, but I'm doing page finishes. So like this is page 1, page 2, and now I'm working on page 3. So I would like to get the 3rd page finished soon. There are 9 full pages plus another page that has like these bottom borders on it. So it's like a 9.5 page chart. So it would be nice to get to a 3 page finish. So then I'm about a third of the way done. But I'm using all the DMC. I don't know if I said that already. It is charted in silks, but it also has a DMC conversion, which I'm using. And I think the colors are just beautiful. Here are the colors. They're just really sweet colors. I love the purple in here. Some people aren't purple people, but I do like a good purple in my stitching. So, yep, there's my 3 Things Sampler. I've been working over here in this area. I've been adding some letters and working on that border. So, yep, there we go. I try to work on that one on Mondays. My friends and I try to work on our really big pieces on Mondays. And so this one's been getting some love on Monday. As much love as I can muster on a Monday. Sometimes on Mondays, I'm a little too tired to do much of anything. So there's that. And the final whip, my final work in progress for today is my Happy Hearts sampler by Birds of a Feather. The Birds of a Feather collection is being recharted by Sherry of Colorado Cross Stitcher. And I was super excited when she put this one in her shop because I love this chart so much. And here's mine. So I have made some progress since you saw it last. I'm stitching this on a fabric of the month from Roxy Floss. It's called Cove. It's a 40 count. And I'm using all the called for over-dyed flosses, which I think look perfect on this fabric. I am doing some personalization. So I've got an L over here for my last name. I've got my kids' initials. I have 3 kids, so I've got their 3 initials there. And there's room for more personalization as you go. So here's my progress so far. I love it. It's looking so good. I just feel like those colors are popping on that fabric. So that was my final whip. Exciting. And I'm keeping that in another project bag from Michelle Lee Quilts. So cute. So yeah. All right, so that's it for the stitching. Let's do a quick giveaway. Let's talk about an upcoming stitch along, and then I will get off of here and let you guys get back to your day. I'm going to pause for 1 second because I need my dog Lily to help me with this next part. Okay, I'm back, and I have sweet Lily here with me too. Thank you. She's a little perturbed. I just woke her up from a nap, but she'll be okay. But I wanted Lily to help me because we have a giveaway of Lily, the frog. So Lily the dog is helping me give away a copy of Lily the frog. She is one of the new animal cracker designs from Stacy Nash for Market. A lot of people have been stitching Lily. And so I'm giving away a copy of Lily, courtesy of my friend Jody. As I mentioned before, my friend Jody has an Etsy shop on Etsy. It's called Simply Stitching Ocala. That is also the name of her Instagram. But I had placed an order with her in her shop recently, and she was like, hey, I'm going to send you a chart to give away on your channel. And so she sent me Sweet Lily to give away to one of my wonderful viewers. So if you want a chance to win Lily the frog, you need to use code word Lily, Lily, to win this copy of Lily, courtesy of Jody and my Lily. So make sure you use the word Lily in your comment, and I will choose a winner in my next video. I do plan on being back in 2 weeks. I'm not going to let another month go by again. Hopefully by then things will have died down a little bit at school with testing and everything. But yes, I would love to get this into one of your hands so you can stitch her along with everybody else, because all I see in my Instagram feed is Lily the frog, and I'm here for it. She's super cute. So use the code word Lily. Make sure you're over 18, and I will pick a winner in my next video. All right, so before we go, I wanted to tell, she just looks so perturbed right now. I'm sorry I woke you up. She'll forgive me. It's okay. She's in great need of a grooming here, but it's okay. She's looking her best crazy self right now. But the stitch along, I don't know if you can hear her making that sound. She's a little upset with me. I'm going to put her down. Sorry, goodness. Guess that's where they get that that phrase, let sleeping dogs lie, right? Anyway, sorry, Lily. I wanted to talk about a stitch along that my friends and I are hosting. So back in January, my friends and I had attended the Stitch Away retreat hosted by Keepsakes. And at Stitch Away, they always have a guest designer. And this year's guest designer was the designer of Erica Michaels. Her name is Linda. And she actually sat at our table at the retreat. She was a lovely, lovely person. She still is. But she's well known for designing strawberries, like the strawberry finish. And so my friends and I were all like, we've never done one of those strawberry finishes. And so we're like, you know, how about we stitch an Erica Michaels strawberry? And so we decided to stitch an Erica Michaels strawberry in May. If you look up Erica Michaels designs, like she has so many strawberry designs, like there you will find one that fits your you know, style. And so we're like, let's do a Sal. And so we decided that we would include all of you in our stitch along. And I'm thinking about stitching one from her new booklet. I believe this came out at Market. No, maybe it didn't, because it says copyright 2021. It's just new to me. But this is Bird Song Berries. I really thought this came out at Market, but I guess I'm wrong. And I think I'm going to choose one of these birds. I really like this one over here. So anyway, I'm still thinking about which strawberry I want to do, but I'm leaning towards this one or maybe the yellow bird. But we're all going to stitch a strawberry in May. We're calling it the Mayberry Sal. Clever. And so that's the hashtag we're going to use, hashtag Mayberry Sal. But if you'd like to stitch a strawberry with us and try out maybe a new to you finish, maybe you've stitched a strawberry before, but for us, it's a new to us finish. And we also wanted to support Linda from Erica Michaels because she's such a lovely person. So if you would like to stitch with us, go find a strawberry pattern from Erica Michaels, and you can tag me or one of my friends or all of us. So the friends that I'm hosting the Sal with, goodness, I feel like I'm tripping over my words today, but we're gonna get there. It's been over an hour now. So I'm hosting this with my friends, Handmade by Sarah W, Alley Cat 13, Benton Station Crafter, Michelle Lee Quilts, Lori from The Grateful Needle, Emily Short and Stitchy. We're all hosting this. We're all participating in it next month. And so you're welcome to tag us. I will link, I will tag all of them below in the description box. So you could tag us, use the hashtag MayberrySal, and let us know what you're going to stitch. And of course, I hope Linda doesn't mind, but if you're stitching an Erica Michaels design, I'm sure she would love for you to tag her as well on Instagram. I believe her Instagram is EM Design Stitching. I'll link her as well, but definitely tag her if you're stitching her designs. I'm sure she would love to see that. So anyway, that's upcoming in May. We don't have an official date, but anytime in May, you can start that. And yeah, I think that's it. My goodness, I feel like I've done a lot of talking today. I'm a little out of practice for doing a video this long, but hopefully it moved along at a good clip for you and that you enjoyed what you saw today. I would love to hear your comments. And don't forget to enter into the giveaway for Sweet Lily using the word Lily. All right, guys, take care. I'll see you next time. Bye.